The Node Icon is Bluesound's first product with a display. But that's perhaps the least interesting thing the Node offers. It hides some interesting technology behind the display. Over the last 13 years, Bluesound has been the perfect alternative to Sonos. Just as easy to install, just as easy to use the app and compatible with a large range of streaming services and standards. On top, it does high-res audio. The products range from wireless speakers to the Node Icon on review here. And if over time you want to go further upmarket, BlueOS can be found in higher-end equipment like that of NAD, DALI, Monitor Audio, Roxanne, Cirrus Audio and Peachtree Audio. So children's rooms, living room and dedicated high-end listening room can all use the same BlueOS app. It's not BlueOS that defines the sound quality, that's only limited by the equipment BlueOS runs on. Time to look at where the Node Icon is to be used. The Node Icon should be connected to an amplifier with loudspeakers, unless you want to listen to headphones, of which the Node Icon can connect to. The connection to your network can be over an Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi. If you have a computer or NAS holding music, that can be played just like music from a USB storage medium. Primary functions plus 5 preset sources can be selected from the Node Icon directly, but a smartphone, tablet, Windows or Mac OS computer offer far better control. Other digital sources like a CD player, CD transport, mini disc player or MP3 player can be connected digitally or analog. A turntable with built-in or separate RIAA preamp can be connected to the stereo analog line inputs. A TV can be connected over either analog, Toslink or HDMI eARC, on which later on more. Since the Node Icon has a digital preamp, it can be connected to a stereo power amp or a pair of mono power amps. Or it can be connected directly to a pair of active speakers. The housing of the Node Icon is from black composite material. The headphone jack, visible on this side, is doubled on the opposite side. The measurements are 220 mm wide, 193 mm deep and 84 mm tall. It weighs 1.6 kilos. On the front we see a 5-inch full-color display, not a touchscreen by the way. On the slightly slanted front part of the top we see 3 rows of soft touch controls. These 5 points each can call a preset like an album, playlist or internet radio station. Below it, transport controls. Skip back, play pause and skip forward. The round play pause icon doubles as a status indicator by changing color. Below that, the volume slider. On the back we see a trigger output that for instance can switch on an amplifier equipped with a trigger input. Below it, a flash input. A flash is an infrared eye that can be used when the Node Icon is placed behind a cupboard door. Then the ICC7 mains inlet, as can be found on for instance shavers. Above it the HDMI eARC input with next to it a USB-C port. Here a PC or Mac can be connected as audio source. The top USB-A port is an input for USB audio storage media. The USB-A port below it outputs audio. Here an external DAC can be connected. The Ethernet port connects to your network. Then the AES-3 the Toslink optical input, the Toslink optical output and the SPDIF coax output. Below that the analog subwoofer output. It is internally filtered. The crossover frequency can be set. Finally, the analog connections. The unbalanced analog line inputs, the unbalanced analog outputs and the balanced analog outputs. When the bottom is unscrewed and the power lines are disconnected, we see in the bottom the double switch mode power supply. It is encapsulated in plastic shield, removed here so I could take a photo. Mounted against the top we find the main circuit board, but not the Bluesound streamer board. I suppose it is mounted here against the back of the main board, judging by these 4 screws. It normally has a customized version of the ARM Cortex quad-core chipset. Bluesound stresses that the processor in the first Node 2 and beyond already had more power than needed, even for further developments like MQA, Chrono D2A and Direct Live. It's just handy to have one universal platform for all products. It holds an eMMC drive as system disk and 2 4GB DRAM chips to work in. It could be they now use an updated version because of component availability. I suppose the digital output is transformed to the main board here. The USB ports are handled by an SMSE USB 2 hub chip. The Texas Instruments PCM5122 DAC chip probably is used for the headphone circuit. Via these shift registers, the signal from the Bluesound board is sent to the DACs. The Node Icon has a dual mono setup, as can clearly be seen here. It uses an ESS dual voltage regulator per channel that is especially designed for their Sabre series DAC chips. This ES9312Q provides several unique features, including ESS DAC calibration, internal fixed mode presets and multiple warning indicators. Then the ESS Sabre ES9039Q2M DAC chip themselves. I presume the 2 channels of each chip are added together for even lower distortion and further improved linearity. The balanced outputs are then sent over these OPA op-amps to the outputs. Analog input signals are converted to digital in this ESS ES9826Q analog to digital converter chip. The headphone signal is provided by this THX AAA module. I had questions on the difference between eARC and eARC. eARC stands for Audio Return Channel and eARC for Enhanced Audio Return Channel. They are both designed to send audio from your TV to a soundbar or AV receiver without needing a separate audio cable. However, eARC is a significant upgrade over ARC, offering better performance and support for high-quality audio formats. Here are the key differences. HDMI ARC has a limited bandwidth up to about 1 megabits per second and support compressed audio formats like Dolby Digital and DTS. HDMI eARC offers higher bandwidth up to 37 megabits per second and supports uncompressed and high bitrate audio formats including Dolby 2 HD, DTS HD Master Audio and Dolby Atmos via True HD. ARC uses HDMI 1.4 and requires CEC, Consumer Electronics Control, to work, which can cause issues with some devices. eARC requires HDMI 2.1 but is backwards compatible with some HDMI 2.0 ports. It works independently of CEC, making it more reliable. ARC can have audio lag issues since it relies on the TV's processing. eARC uses automatic lip sync correction, reducing audio lag for better synchronization. So it's great that the Node Icon supports eARC. It also supports Dolby Digital, so connecting a modern TV should give no problems at all. After connecting the Node Icon as described in Where to Use, you need to download the BlueOS app on your Android or iOS smart device or Windows or Mac OS computer. After starting it up, you will see your player or, like here, your players. Choose the player you want to use and then choose the source by choosing Music in the left menu. Let's select Qobuz and play an album. Things work for other streaming services about the same. Like here with Tidal. Your own music on your NAS or computer again works about the same. Along the top you can choose the physical inputs like analog, Bluetooth, HDMI, optical and USB-C. It's all very logical. The Node Icon was connected to the clean side of the Opton Audio Ether Regen with Opton Audio UltraCaps 1.2 power supply. From there a patch cable runs to the central switch on the 3rd floor and from there over the modem/router and media converter downstairs to the 1 gigabit fiber internet. Connected to the dirty side of the Ether Regen was the Roon Nucleus. The analog outputs of the Node Icon were connected to the Arcam Radia 825 amplifier that drove the Acoustic Energy Radiance 1 loudspeakers connected over Kimber 4PA loudspeaker cable. They were supported by the Rel T5 subwoofer that is connected to the loudspeaker terminals on the Arcam using the cable that came with the sub. The Node Icon was controlled over an iPad Pro 2 running the BlueOS app and the Roon app. The equipment was placed in a target rack. I have reviewed a number of Bluesound nodes over the years and they all sounded great for the money. Not the Node Icon. That sounds great for double the money. The reason? It's low time smearing. It makes a rim shot sound more powerful, a piano tone more open, a marimba more defined. All things one associates with low time smearing. But it's also extremely beneficial for the lows too, that not only go deeper but also have a texture-rich glance that can't normally be found in this price range. It also does great things to the spatial projection, again fantastic in relation to the MSRP. So I needed to listen to it on my Setup 1B. I often like to see what a device on the test does in my Setup 1B, where the connection to the network was made over the Zixel GS1900-10HP switch and is filtered by the Network Acoustics eNode 2 system Ethernet filter. Also connected to the Zixel switch was a Zixel Odido modem which provides internet access via a Nokia media converter to the 1 gigabits per second up and down fiber internet connection. The small green computer sonic transporter i7 CRD running Roon server, Minim server and Audivana core server was also connected to the Zixel switch via a patch cable. The amplifier was the Air Acoustics AX520 connected over Grim Audio SQM XLR cables. It drove the PMC FAC12 signature loudspeakers on Stack Audio OVA 17 isolators and connected over AudioQuest Robin Hood Zero loudspeaker cable. The Node Icon was controlled over an iPad Pro 2 running both BlueOS and Roon apps. The equipment was placed in a Creative Trend 3 rack. It's amazing how well the Node Icon reproduced music in this setup that normally has a front end of almost twice the price. Mainly Sibilance was not as clear as my reference, but for the rest excellent. There is no fatigue, which I test by playing solitaire on my iPad, trying to finish the game within 2 minutes 30. It's amazing how well aberrations in the sound attracts your attention while your brain is working on other things under pressure. I can only say this network player sounded surprisingly well. I rate it sound-wise lower quarter Setup 1B, which, as far as I remember, hasn't happened with a streamer costing €1100. With version 4, the Bluesound app has become extremely easy to use. The Node Icon itself has an attractive appearance. Many will like the display. That it's not a touch-sensitive screen to me is no problem. You operate the Node Icon from the touch-sensitive screen on your smart device. That can be bigger and at a more convenient angle. And it's at the listening position. The real quality of the Node Icon lies in the sound quality. It is by far the best sounding streamer I have heard in this price category, which might be due to the new DAC technology MQA Lab has developed, called Chrono D2A and the DSD version Chrono DSD. I hadn't time to dive into it, but a link to a white paper is in the description below this video on YouTube. Regardless whether the sound quality is due to Chrono or other technology, it is a fantastic sounding streamer. And on that bombshell we come to the end of this video. There will be new videos soon, so subscribe to this channel or follow me on Patreon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram or TikTok to stay up to date on new videos. Patreon and YouTube Premium subscribers see my videos a week earlier and ad-free. Help me reach even more people by giving this video a thumbs up or linking to this video on the social media. It would be greatly appreciated. A big thank you to the viewers who support this channel financially. It keeps me independent and allows me to improve the channel further. If that makes you want to support my work, the links are in the description below this video on YouTube. I'm Hans Beekhuizen, thank you for watching and see you in the next video. And whatever you do, enjoy the music.